Hey friends, welcome back to the Stoic Mindset channel. And if you're new here, I'm so glad you're joining us. Today, we're diving into a topic that resonates with so many of us, getting emotionally stuck on someone who doesn't seem to care the same way we do. It's tough, it's painful, and it can feel like we're trapped in a cycle we can't escape. It's as if our happiness is tied to someone else's actions, leaving us feeling powerless. But here's the good news. Today, we're going to look at how Stoic wisdom can help us break free from this emotional hold and regain control over our happiness. Stoicism teaches us to focus on what we can control, our own actions, thoughts, and responses, so that we can find peace and balance even when faced with unreciprocated feelings. If you're ready to take back your peace and let go of what doesn't serve you, then let's dive into these 7 powerful steps. And remember, if you find these tips helpful, please give this video a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe for more content that helps you live with intention and resilience. Let's get started. Number 1, recognizing what you can control. Have you ever found yourself constantly checking your phone, waiting for a message that never comes? It's like you're trapped in this exhausting loop, each notification holding the possibility of a message that, deep down, you know isn't coming. You end up feeling like your emotions are entirely at the mercy of someone else's choices, which can be deeply unsettling. But here's where Stoicism offers us a different perspective, and ultimately a way out. Stoic philosophy teaches us that our peace, our happiness, and our sense of control come from focusing on the things that are truly within our power. This means our actions, our thoughts, and our reactions. When we start directing our attention back to ourselves, we break the cycle of waiting on someone else. You can't control if or when someone will reach out or express interest, but you can absolutely decide how you respond to their absence. Think of each moment you spend waiting for their text as a moment you could be spending on something fulfilling for yourself. What if you put down the phone and focused on something that brings you genuine happiness? Whether it's starting a creative project, working on a personal goal, or connecting with people who do care, each choice you make to invest in yourself is a powerful reminder that your happiness isn't tethered to someone else's interest, or lack thereof. Imagine a scenario where, instead of anxiously waiting, you're engaged in an activity that fulfills you, whether it's writing, exercising, or spending time with people who genuinely appreciate you. Picture yourself feeling a sense of calm, knowing you're no longer at the mercy of someone else's choices. This shift from dependency to independence is liberating, and it reminds you of the control you actually have over your well-being. There's a profound freedom in realizing that while you can't control others, you can control your actions and your focus. Every time you choose to invest your energy in something that builds you up, you're reclaiming your peace from an endless cycle of waiting. If you've ever found yourself stuck in this loop, drop a comment below and share what helped you take back control. And if this resonates with you, please remember to like the video. Number 2, shifting your perspective. Think back to a time when you thought you couldn't live without someone, only to eventually move on and find new happiness. It's a reminder that our minds often create illusions, magnifying someone's importance until we believe they're essential. But Stoicism encourages us to challenge these perceptions and look deeper at the reality of the situation. Take a moment to sit down with a pen and paper and write down what you believe you'll miss about them. Then, go back and ask yourself, are these things truly about them, or are they feelings and comforts they represented? Often, when we do this exercise, we realize that our attachment isn't necessarily to the person themselves, but to the comfort, familiarity, or validation they brought into our lives. Imagine clearing out your mind like you would a cluttered room. You're holding on to things that once meant something, but when you look at them now, you realize they no longer serve you. It's freeing to let go of those items and make space for things that actually enrich your present. Similarly, letting go of idealized thoughts about someone allows you to see your own worth and find peace without needing them to validate it. It's not always easy to change our perspective, but with practice you'll find that each day brings a little more clarity. You may start to see that you're actually attached to an idea more than the person. And when you realize this, the hold they have over you begins to fade, freeing you to move forward with a clearer mind and an open heart. Let me know if you've ever realized you were more attached to the idea of someone than the person themselves. Share your story in the comments, and if this was helpful, please like the video. Number 3. Reclaiming your self-worth. It's easy to fall into the habit of letting someone else's attention define our self-worth. When we're focused on someone who doesn't reciprocate, we can start to feel like their lack of care says something about our value. But Stoicism teaches us a critical truth. Our worth comes from within. Instead of waiting for someone to validate us, we need to learn to look inward and recognize our own qualities, independent of their opinion. Each day, start by listing a few things you admire about yourself, qualities that you believe make you a person worth loving. These could be traits like kindness, resilience, humor, or creativity. Imagine looking in the mirror and appreciating yourself fully, not based on how much or how little someone else notices you, but on your own recognition of who you are. It's a practice of self-respect and inner validation. By reinforcing your own worth, you create a foundation that's strong and unshakable. No matter who comes or goes, that sense of value remains because it's built on something no one can take away. This isn't about ignoring others' opinions entirely. It's about creating a balance. When your self-worth is rooted in your own perspective, the opinions of others become secondary. You can accept compliments or criticism without letting them define you. Over time, you'll find that you're less dependent on others' approval and more at peace with who you are. Have you ever found yourself reclaiming your self-worth after feeling unappreciated? Share your story in the comments, and if this resonates, please give the video a thumbs up. Number 4. Embracing AMOR FATI. Love your fate. Have you ever found yourself wishing things could be different, replaying moments in your head, wondering how everything would feel if it had only gone another way? This is a common feeling, especially when we're caught up in unreciprocated affection. But Stoicism teaches a principle called AMOR FATI, which means love of fate. Instead of resisting reality, AMOR FATI encourages us to embrace every part of our journey, the good, the bad, and even the painful. It's about learning to accept each experience as necessary for our growth and well-being. Imagine for a moment that every challenge you face, every setback or rejection, is a stone on a path that leads you somewhere meaningful. Instead of seeing this unreciprocated feeling as a failure or a loss, see it as a redirection, a signal that it's time to focus on those who truly value you. By embracing what is, rather than longing for what could have been, you find a new kind of strength and freedom. It's not about giving up. It's about finding peace within the reality you're given and trusting that even difficult moments have a purpose. When you practice AMOR FATI, you're training yourself to approach life with resilience, seeing every experience as a teacher. Think of a mountain climber who doesn't just accept the rough terrain, but appreciates it, knowing it's an essential part of the journey to the summit. Each rock they step over is a necessary part of reaching that breathtaking view at the top. Embracing your fate in this way shifts your mindset from one of frustration to one of gratitude. You begin to appreciate the lessons hidden within the challenges, even those that initially felt like setbacks. Let me know in the comments if you've ever been able to embrace a difficult experience and learn from it. And if this concept of AMOR FATI resonates, please give the video a like. Number 5. Setting healthy boundaries. Have you ever felt overwhelmed, like you're constantly thinking about someone who doesn't seem to care? When we allow someone to occupy too much space in our minds, it can feel draining and even start to affect our sense of self. Stoicism reminds us of the importance of setting healthy boundaries, not as barriers to keep people out, but as protective measures for our own mental and emotional well-being. Setting boundaries means deciding how much mental and emotional space we're willing to dedicate to someone who doesn't reciprocate our energy. By setting boundaries, you're choosing to prioritize your own peace. Imagine your mind as a garden. Each thought about them is like a weed that starts to take over, pulling nutrients from the plants you truly want to grow, your passions, goals, and relationships with people who genuinely care. By setting boundaries, you're weeding out these thoughts that don't serve you, allowing your mental landscape to flourish with ideas and memories that actually bring you joy. Setting boundaries might mean deciding to limit the time you spend talking or thinking about this person. It might mean redirecting your focus each time they cross your mind, gently but firmly reminding yourself that your peace comes first. There's a powerful sense of freedom in reclaiming your mind and energy for things that uplift you rather than drain you. Protecting your peace with healthy boundaries is one of the most compassionate things you can do for yourself. It's not about being cold or shutting people out. It's about preserving your well-being. Each time you catch yourself slipping into thoughts about them, redirect your attention to something that nurtures you. Have you ever had to set mental or emotional boundaries to protect yourself? Share your story in the comments, and if this tip resonates, please give the video a thumbs up. Number 6. Practicing emotional detachment. Have you ever felt like your emotions are controlling you rather than the other way around? When we're attached to someone who doesn't care, it's easy to feel like we're caught in an emotional storm, constantly swayed by thoughts of them. But Stoicism offers a tool that can help: emotional detachment. Detachment doesn't mean ignoring your feelings. It means observing them without letting them control you. Imagine your emotions as clouds passing across the sky. Some are dark and heavy, others are light and fleeting, but all of them eventually drift away. The next time thoughts of them arise, try stepping back and simply observing the thought without judgment. Acknowledge it, recognize it, and then let it float away like a cloud. Practicing this regularly teaches you to see your emotions for what they are: temporary and ever-changing. When you can observe your feelings without immediately reacting, you'll find that you have a newfound sense of calm and clarity. It's like sitting by a river, watching leaves float by. You see them, you acknowledge them, but you don't have to reach out and hold on to them. Detachment brings a profound sense of peace, especially during emotional storms. Instead of feeling controlled by every thought or feeling about them, you're able to watch these emotions come and go without becoming consumed by them. This practice of detachment gives you the space to make decisions that are grounded and calm. Have you ever tried observing your emotions without reacting? Let me know how it went in the comments, and if this was helpful, please give the video a like. Number 7. Building a life of your own. Are you ready to create a life that doesn't depend on anyone else's presence or approval? Stoicism teaches that true happiness and fulfillment come from within. Instead of waiting for someone to bring you happiness, take this opportunity to dive into goals and passions that make you feel alive. Ask yourself, what am I excited about? What do I want to learn, create, or accomplish? By setting personal goals and building a life that you're genuinely excited about, you start to see that someone else's lack of interest has no power over your happiness. Imagine painting the canvas of your life, each brushstroke representing a dream, a goal, or a value that's important to you. Every time you invest in yourself and pursue something meaningful, you're creating a beautiful, fulfilling life that's grounded in your own interests and aspirations. Whether it's starting a new hobby, focusing on career growth, or spending time in nature, each step towards building a fulfilling life makes you realize that your happiness is under your control. This shift from dependency to independence is empowering. When you're building a life that aligns with your values, the opinions of others become less significant. You're no longer looking to someone else for validation because you're finding fulfillment in your own path. Have you ever focused on building your own life after a challenging experience? Share your journey in the comments, and if this inspired you, please give the video a thumbs up. Thank you so much for joining me today. Remember, your happiness doesn't need to be tied to anyone else's approval or interest. Often, we think that someone else's affection or validation is essential to our well-being, but true fulfillment actually comes from within. By focusing on what we can control, our thoughts, actions, and responses, and by embracing our own journey, we can break free from the need for external validation. Instead, we build a life rooted in our own values and passions, one that brings us peace and purpose regardless of anyone else's actions. If any of these tips resonated with you, please share your thoughts in the comments below. Your experiences could help others who are going through similar struggles. And if you found value in this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing for more content that empowers you to live with resilience, self-worth, and inner peace. Until next time, keep moving forward, stay true to yourself, and continue building a life that's truly yours. You deserve a life filled with happiness and meaning on your own terms. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video.